everybody, welcome back to Leah's Leaves. I abandoned my usual seltzer water today for one of these Canada Dry Ginger Ale Bold. They are delicious. So, yum, yum, yum. Quick video today. I want to talk about seed organization. I grew up gardening with parents, grandparents, but I was never responsible for the seed purchases or the seed saving or anything like that as a child. As a teenager, I was in the 4-H club and I did vegetable gardening as a project. And I honestly don't even remember where my seeds came from. I just think my mom and grandma gave me some of theirs. I don't remember buying any seeds. The only exception to that, now that I think about it, was a packet of hot peppers because I wanted to grow some hot peppers. So I grew some jalapenos that year. And I did buy those. And then I lived for like over 20 years in places where I couldn't garden. I even had apartments that didn't have windowsills. So I didn't have any west or south facing sun. I didn't own land. I still don't own land. I live in a church parsonage now, though, that has a yard that I'm allowed to grow food in. So, hi, Claire, welcome. Everybody likes it when you show up. You can't have my ginger ale, dude. Hi. Smile for the camera. So, it's only been in the last few years since moving here to the Shenandoah Valley of Virginia. I grow in zone 6B, if that matters to anyone, that I've really invested in seeds. And that's for two reasons. One is because I love variety and because I was out of the gardening world for so long that I just had no idea what I was missing. I had no idea what I was missing. Are any of you new to gardening in the last year or two and you're feeling that way? You just go online to be like, oh, I think I'll plant some cucumbers. I like cucumbers. And then you discover there are 15 varieties of cucumbers and all shapes and sizes and different colors and different craziness. And you're just like, and names you can't pronounce. And then you're just like, what happened to just a cucumber? That's kind of how I felt, about 3 years ago when I started gardening again. Well, now I've really gotten excited about the varieties that I never knew existed and what I'm learning that I can grow here on my property and in my climate. And, hi buddy, can you relax? Let me go up here. There you go. And I started investing in seeds. The other reason, not just because I grow here at home, but because I'm a musician and I work in the gig economy part-time, quarter-time. Well, I missed a bunch of gigs last year, and I'm still missing some in 2021. So I decided that I would use my newfound gardening passion and the growing space that I have to also grow plants so that I can sell seedlings to other gardeners in my area. I remember last year that suppliers in the area, even the big box stores and everything, their varieties just weren't there. Sometimes, even in a normal year, they have less variety than you're going to get from growing seed. But 2020, because of COVID and disruptions to the shipping pipeline and disruptions to the whole seed saving, seed shipping market, they just weren't able to even start plants on time or get plant starts into their stores in time for the growing season. So I see that the same thing is potentially happening this year, and I want to be ahead of the curve and kind of monopolize a little bit of that market here in my small town and make seedlings available that people aren't going to find anywhere else. Not really weird things, those I save for myself, but there's just going to be difficult to find seedlings for people who are trying to home grow. And especially, I don't know yet, many people in my area, we're in a mountain valley. It's an old town. We only have fewer than 5,000 people living here. And so a lot of the people who garden, and it's just not the climate for many new time gardeners. But those of you watching this video, a lot of people nationwide in many, many different kinds of places, urban environments, suburbs, apartments, uh, uh, rural areas, rooftop gardens. I mean, everybody's trying to figure out how to grow some food and sort of disrupt the existing food industry, gain some self-sufficiency, sort of hedge your bets against the reliability of the food market, keep yourself safe and healthy. Growing your own food is a very healthy thing to do. It's physical exercise, it's sunshine and fresh air, which is good for you. It's mental clarity, which is good for you. It affects all of the senses, so it's stimulating to do it. The planning, the research, and the smell of the soil, and just getting back to getting back to touching the earth and being connected to it is so important for mental health and physical health. And for me as a Christian, I'm always just marveling at the miracle of it. The miracle of a seed that is this small, that contains every single protein and macro and micronutrient it needs to germinate and grow a plant that's going to produce maybe hundreds of cherry tomatoes or dozens of zucchini, right? Or 8 bell peppers. Starts here and it grows and grows and grows. It's just miraculous. And I can stand out in my garden and praise the Creator and say, thank you, Lord, for this amazing gift of not only providing for us, but giving me the wherewithal to participate in that miraculous process and be a gardener. So that excites me. So I needed a way to organize my seeds, and I tried a couple things. The first thing I tried was baseball card binder, because I'm a baseball card collector in my old life, and I had baseball card, inserts and stuff. That didn't work. I figured that out pretty quickly because I was ordering seeds from places like Everwild Farms, Botanical Interest, Baker Creek, and their seed packets are just too big for those little containers to hold them. And then you can only ever put them in on one side. Anyway, they wouldn't hold seeds on both sides because they just got bulky and cumbersome and wouldn't move very well. So I abandoned that almost as quickly as I discovered it. And then for a while I just did like a shoebox, which is fine. And if all you have is a shoebox, do a shoebox. It felt like for me to be efficient in my planning and my planting, I needed a better storage system than that. And I had them organized in a way. They weren't just randomly thrown in there, and I didn't have to dig and dig and dig in a random pile, but they were, I didn't have dividers, and I could have done that, I guess. I had them organized. At one point, I tried just to do it alphabetically. That didn't work for me because some varieties kind of fall into more than one category, or they have a different names like kale, but then different names. So then I'm alphabetizing by the variety name. Anyway, that was just a little too organized, probably a little too cumbersome for me to try to think about doing it that way. The shoebox was okay, but there was still a lot of flipping, like looking through a card catalog at a library. I used to do that for a living, by the way. I was a librarian once upon a time, and I didn't want to have to deal with my seeds that way. And then I saw someone recommend a photo case, and that seemed like I could probably make that work. One case will not hold all my seeds, but it will hold a year's seeds. All of the seeds that I need to plant in 2021 can be held in one of these photo boxes. So that's what I ended up investing in. And what I'm talking about is this little nugget right here. I got the colorful one for no other reason than it was the only one left on the shelf at my local Walmart. So a lot of the ones I've seen online are clear. Doesn't matter, irrelevant. You can get them colored or not colored. The only reason I have a colored one is because it was all that was there. And what I did with this is I assigned a plant type to each color, and I put a label corresponding to that plant type above the color on the outside of the case. And then on the bottom, where the flat part was of every individual case, I put the label as well. So whether I'm looking at an individual case and see that I'm holding peppers, or I have the whole thing open and I'm looking for the peppers like this, but I don't want to like keep lifting it up and risk things falling out or anything, I can just flip the lid and be like 1, 2, 3. The third one down on this side is peppers. Peppers. Makes it very easy to find. Now I've seen some people who use this system for every seed they own, and they end up holding, 3, 4, 5 of these cases. That to me starts to feel cumbersome. I'm a Gen Xer. I'm a child of the 90s. So I was born in the late 70s. So I still have a compact disc collection. Like, that's how antique I am. And my compact disc collection is in binders. And they're all black and blue binders because that's the only colors they sold back then at Staples. And every time I filled a binder, I'd go get a new binder for my CDs. Well, the problem is I never remember which of the nearly identical cases holds which CDs. They're all in alphabetical order, but I don't know which one is A through G, and I don't know which one is H through M, whatever like that. So I always invariably end up opening 2, 3, and sometimes all 4 of them before I find the section of the alphabet that has the CD that I'm looking for when I'm trying to play music. I don't want to deal with that with my seeds. So rather than going back to the store and buying multiple boxes like this, I decided not to fuss with that. What I would do instead is make out my garden plan. That's on a previous video. I'll link that below if you're interested in seeing my garden map and what I plan to grow this year. And decide what varieties I'm really, really passionate about growing this year. Some that are tried and true, and some that are new to me that I'm really excited to grow. I'll post my Valentine video about that because I made a Valentine tribute on February 14th to all the seeds that I love. My favorite seeds from the past and my favorite seeds for the future. And then once I had determined which of each plant type I'm actually planning to grow, that's what went in this color-coded, labeled case. It's the only thing that went into this color-coded label case. Every seed for my garden in 2021 is right here in my hand. Every other seed packet that I own is in a separate box, in a cool, dry, dark place, not organized, waiting till next year. That's an off-season project. For the 2022 growing season, Lord willing, I will sit down in the winter months. I'll empty these. I'll open the other box. I'll sort them. I'll begin my garden planning in December, January. I'll map things out. I'll decide which varieties I want to try again, which ones I want to try new. And all the rest, I'll just only put, in this case, what I plan to use in the next garden season. The rest will go in that box. In that box are all the seeds that I've acquired that maybe they're large plants I don't have space for. I don't have room to grow pumpkins, like big ones. I don't have room for that. Squashes, gourds. I don't have enough vertical space. I have some vertical space, and there are things that I'm determined to grow on my vertical space. There's some melons and pole beans and certain indeterminate tomatoes that I'm dedicating to those vertical spaces. So I don't have extra room for vining plants. I don't do well. I just haven't had tremendous success yet growing some of the larger heading brassicas like cauliflower and broccoli. I'm not opposed, and cabbages as well, full heads of cabbage. I'm not opposed to trying, but I don't dedicate a lot of space to them because I already know what I can grow successfully. So I just experiment with those things and then dedicate my main spaces to things that I know are like tried and true, or that I'm really eager to try to do successfully. One other thing was that bulky seeds didn't always fit in these little cases. So I invested $3 more at the Dollar Tree in the school supply section for pencil cases. This one holds all my peas. Not all my peas, just the peas that I'm growing this year. This one holds beans, and you can see if you look in the top that's a pretty full case of beans. I'm growing both pole and bush varieties this year, and I have a long enough growing season here in Virginia that I can grow more than one crop. And so I'm not growing the same crop twice. I'll actually be experimenting. I'll grow a couple of kinds of bush beans early in the season, and then a second crop of bush beans later in the season that's a different variety that I'll try. They're all in here. And then the third dollar that I spent at the Dollar Tree was just for microgreens. These are seeds. A lot of them are they're 75 cents now. Little Shop of Seeds sells seed packets for 75 cents. They were 55 cents last year. Their prices went up. Ooh, they're 75 cents. They send you 1,000,000. So it's a totally good deal. Dollar Seeds, every packet is $1. Flat rate shipping for $3. Easiest place, dollarseeds.com. Great. If you're looking for economical seeds, go to the Dollar Tree. Go to your box store. Dollar Tree has 4 for $1. 25 cents a pack. There aren't a huge amount of seeds in there, but it's a good value for basic standard varieties. So that's a lot of my microgreens are, 4 packs of radishes for $1, or 4 packs of arugula for $1, 4 packs of mustard greens for $1. I eat a lot of microgreens. This is something that I'm learning more about. So I have a lot of seeds because every 2 weeks I sow a new tray and I fill it. So my bulky seeds, these are great. And the Dollar Tree ones, I'll say this, just full disclosure and transparency. You pay $1 for it. It's you get what you pay for. They don't always clasp consistently. And if I were taking this pencil case to school every day and using it on a daily basis, I would invest in a better version of it. But for me, taking seeds outside a few times all year, then this is adequate for me. I'm a big enough girl that I can hold it closed while I carry it outside. Okay, so it was totally worth $1 for me to invest in this. Anyway, I hope that gives you some organizing ideas. This is a plan that's really working for me now. I want to say one more thing, just by way of interest. I do have this other box of seeds. It's the seeds that I'm not growing this year. It's not a full box. It's not a big box, but I have some seeds that I'm not growing this year. Maybe you do too. I want to float this by you. There is a process in the works. COVID sort of knocked it off its course, but we're getting to the place now where they really should be preparing to do this. If not in 2021, definitely 2022. And that is that the Massanutten Regional Library System has been investigating the possibility of starting a seed library, or sometimes called a seed vault. It would be a lending library of seeds for local growers to donate or to check out. And you take them out, you grow the plant, you save the seeds, you donate them back to the library at the end of the growing season. Or you take one kind of seed and you trade it for another. So like a seed swap, but instead of with other people, you're swapping with the library. I think it's terrific. And I know that some of these already exist, even here in Virginia, but none in my county or even my area of the state. a lot of them exist in the more populated areas east and south. If your local library system does not already have something like that, call them up and make a suggestion. If you're watching this video and you live around me in the Shenandoah Valley of Virginia, call the Massanutten Regional Library System and say, hey, how's that seed vault idea coming? Kind of light a fire under them, you know? I would love to be able to take the seeds that I have because of what? Because I saw them and they seemed like a good idea at the time, or I bought them 2 years ago and I planted some, but I'm not growing that variety this year. Some I got from seed swaps that are great seeds. There's nothing wrong with them. They just don't grow well in my climate, or I don't have space to grow more than I'm already growing. So I have seeds. A few of you have already reached out on some of my previous videos when I offered free seeds. Those offers are still available. There's a packet of Canna Lily seeds headed to the Pacific Northwest right now, actually. And I have cilantro seeds that I grew and saved from last year. I have extra Sweet William seeds. I have extra red Canna Lilies, the tropical plant. They're perennial in my zone, barely, but they're growing really well next to our church picnic shelter. Yeah, if you're interested in having any of those, shoot me an email at leahsleaves@hotmail.com with your name and address, and I'll pop some seeds in the mail for you because I have surplus. But more than that, I want to find an outlet where these can be kind of a gift that pays forward. You know what I mean? So the seed library thing really delights me, and I hope that it happens. The community center in my town that has opened in the last couple of years, they had talked about doing a seed swap here in February, but it's almost the end of February. That hasn't happened yet. Not sure why. If it does in March or April, I will participate in it just to unload some of my surplus and pay them forward and give them a good home, or maybe acquire some interesting seeds that I wouldn't have otherwise had access to. I don't know. Anyway, I hope that you will like and subscribe to the channel. I create content not on a regular basis. My work schedule is rather sporadic, and gardening fits in around that. I try to post at least one video a week, sometimes more than that, sometimes less. But if you hit the notification bell, you'll always know when there's new content up. I'd also love to know if you have stumbled on a sorting system for your seeds that's really working for you. Whether that's a system you developed for yourself, or you learned it from another YouTuber or another resource online. If you have made a video about that, or if you would like to leave a comment and describe your system to us, or better yet, if you learned it from another YouTuber, find that video and post a link to it. I would love to see what other people are doing. I feel like one of the goals of this page is for me to learn as much from my viewers as I can, and to share what I'm learning with you. Maybe I introduce a topic from time to time that's kind of new to you and it inspires you. But I'm looking for inspiration too, because I'm learning a lot. I always say this at the end of every video. I'm learning a lot. I'm sharing it here. I hope that you'll come grow with me. One of the ways you can do that is by sharing content with me, directing me to the places where you're gaining inspiration. Okay? Like, share, subscribe, ring that notification bell, leave a comment below. Tell me how you're sorting your seeds. Tell me what hasn't worked. You know, mistakes are a great teacher. So like me and my baseball card system. I know people who use that system and it works for them. It did not work for me. I tried it. It didn't work. But now I've stumbled on a system that seems to be working for me. For now. Till I find something better, right? Okay, I'm going to enjoy my bold ginger ale, and I hope you all have a blessed night. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. Bye.